Australia, dari Belgium, dari Malaysia, ya, dan masa akan datang kita akan ada lagi ramai lagi kawan-kawan dari seluruh dunia. Jadi inilah kuasa Global Lifestyle Dinner Club, ya. So masih juga boleh kita jemput lagi kawan-kawan yang ingin belajar, ingin mau tambah ilmu, mau berubah, kan. So masih juga boleh jemput. Tapi of course kita tidak boleh harap semua orang akan join. Tapi yang sudah join tu memang orang yang bertuah. So kita ada peluang boleh belajar lagi, ya. So hari ini kita ada tetamu istimewa, kita boleh belajar dari dia banyak lagi perkara yang baru, kita boleh tambah dalam bisnes, kita boleh tambah dalam kehidupan kita sendiri, supaya kita punya kehidupan lebih baik daripada apa yang kita memiliki hari ini. Right, so tanpa saya tidak mau cerita banyak, jadi hari ini saya mau jemput lagi sekali kita punya presiden team member Dries untuk buka kita punya meeting hari ini. And then sebelum kita jemput kita punya guest speaker, saya jemput Coach Dries. Persilakan Coach Dries.
Thank you, Coach Jay, again for make all these things happen, for organizing and putting all this stuff together. Thank you so much. Me and Anita and myself, we went last weekend on a retreat, on a spiritual event. And it was really very powerful. It was really eye-opening. It had nothing to see with Herbalife, but we traveled and we went for an inner journey. And the things we learned are actually all reminders of everything that we learned within Herbalife. And especially, that we really again understood and really saw in what ways we can work on ourselves and how important it is to work on ourselves, and that the size of our business really depends on our personality, on how we are dealing with our organization, how we feel every single day, and what we are doing every single day, how we look at the business, how confident we are, how disciplined we are, and with what intention we are doing the Herbalife business. This is just the most important thing. If you want to build your Herbalife business, is to work on yourself. And then most of all is how you are actually communicating with your downlines, how you deal with them. So that's really a key. And so that's number one in the key in the leadership. Number two is your consistency, your consistent doing the business, and your discipline on keep doing the business every single day. And whether you do Herbalife online or whether you promoting through different ways, it's everywhere exactly the same thing. You have to keep doing Herbalife really consistent for 3 months, promoting, and then the results will start coming in. Of course, you need to really look, the way you do stuff, that it's have an impact, that somewhere you can differentiate your impact, and that people are attracted with what you are putting out. So I just wanted to share that with all of you. So I have a quick question, actually. If Karim is happened to be online already on the call, you can just please say hello. Because actually, I have I have actually asked someone from the weekend to join us on the call because I found this story quite unbelievable, actually. And I'm not sure whether he is already on the call, but no problem. He might join in later, and then I will get later his story. So,
Not yet.
it looks like he's not yet in the call. Jay, can you take over 1 second, please?
Yes, sure. Okay, so today we are mula cakap lagi panggil English pula. Tiba-tiba mau cakap English kuno. So hari ini kita ada hari yang spesial kan, jadi kita perlu tunggu sebab benda yang lebih baik kita tidak dapat dengan mudah, dan yang barang yang kita dapat dengan mudah, begitu mudah kan, itu bukan barang yang istimewa dalam hidup lah. So lebih sukar untuk mau dapat sesuatu, lebih dia punya keistimewaan itu lebih baik. Jadi sementara kita menunggu kita punya special guest, oleh karena kita ada sedikit peluang kan hari ini, dan kita juga ada Coach Steffi. Jadi so saya tahu juga dia ada follow juga YouTube, link semua kan. Jadi so far apa yang Coach Steffi dapat melihat daripada Global Lifestyle Dinner Club, dan apakah suggestion yang boleh bagi untuk memperbaikikan agar kita boleh lagi dapat bantu lagi ramai kawan-kawan. So persilakan Coach Steffi untuk 5 minutes, okay?
Dengar sudah? Oh, okay. Tadi ada background noise sebab baby saya bangun. So untuk saya, kita punya kejayaan dalam Herbalife adalah events dan teamwork, dan saya sangat-sangat gembira dengan kita punya global lifestyle events sebab it's bringing us all together. Kami bekerja semua bersama-sama, dan apa kekuatan dengan event adalah kita punya story, our personal story. Nothing more powerful than hearing Jay talk, City talk, Coach City talk last week, Coach Norazman. That's what got me started. And the reason why I'm so excited about today is because the reason I got started on my journey like over 15 years ago is because of Leo, because I went to a similar event live into a big room full of people, and Leo talked, he was sharing his journey, and I was on board. It is like everyone who is here now, he's really worth waiting for, like Jay is mentioning. His words are powerful. His journey is so inspiring. It just inspired me to learn how to dream again, how to go for my goals, because that's something, you go to university and you just think, if you study hard, then you get a nice job for a big company and that will be your success in life. But you forget to really dream outside Herbalife. And that's something that I really got from the events. And I'm so grateful that we have that back, because it's the stories that's coming together on a weekly basis that's so powerful, and not just for us, but for all the future people that we are inviting, the people that we're going to meet tomorrow. So that's so powerful. So what to improve, Jay? not much really. Actually, being consistent in these events. Being on time, Sabata. But yeah, it's so great. I feel like it's a seed of something really big that we're planting here, and I'm very, very, very excited about it. And I cannot wait to celebrate all of us going to the next level. I feel like 2022 is a real turning point. And yeah, it's just so great to observe from afar because I feel like I miss you all. So yeah, thank you, Jay. I'll pass it back to you.
So, thank you Coach Steffi. Walaupun dia punya speech tu sangat sedikit kan, tapi boleh rasa dia punya vibration tu, energy tu kan. Jadi kita sesiapa yang belum pernah dengar cerita daripada Coach Steffi, kamu kena bersuara. Sebab kalau kita bersuara, kita minta, dia akan, so saya tahu bukan senang untuk dia ya. So sekarang kita masih juga jam 8:30 begitu, tapi Coach Steffi sekarang sudah 12:30 mungkin, mau jam 1 malam sudah dia perlu tidur. Tapi coba lihat di sini kan, kenapa masih lagi dia bangun, kenapa masih lagi dia punya muka begitu segar, nampak tu bertenaga. Dia sekarang masih lagi menyusu baby, betul tak? Ibu kan, breastfeeding mother, tapi dia punya muka sangat-sangat ceria, sangat-sangat nampak macam wow, masih sumandak pula. Kenapa? Sebab itulah kuasa Herbalife Nutrisi. So, apabila kita boleh ambil Herbalife Nutrisi setiap hari, bukan saja kita boleh turun berat badan, tapi boleh improve kita punya penampilan, kelihatan, energi semua, right? Dan hari ini dia berada, so kita ada tetamu yang istimewa. Jadi kita perlu semangat. Mungkin orang baru, masih baru join saja dalam bisnes, kamu mungkin fikir apa itu, kenapa kadang-kadang kita rasa iya saya perlu tidur, kenapa saya mau bangun begitu. Tapi lihat di sini kenapa Coach Steffi boleh masih lagi bangun, sebab ada hari ini something yang special ya. So next time kita akan dengar daripada Coach Steffi. Okay? Jadi ada lagi cerita ataupun kita sudah jemput Coach Leo, kita punya Coach Rice, anything?
Thank you, Jay. Thank you. Indeed, we are waiting actually for our upline, all our mentor to join us in time. I want to quickly ask because I believe many of you already seen him. I also believe many of you already had them maybe on a video call through previous meetings. So maybe you just start putting in the WhatsApp if you've seen him and maybe where you've seen him online or in real life. Nowadays, it's really difficult to see people real life and be able to hug somebody and to look him in the eyes. So if you have done that, that's even more wonderful. So just start putting in the chat who already seen him, and that would be nice. So Mulu, yes, definitely. Mulu is an amazing experience with him. We had like a couple of days leadership training. So that was kind of very special, definitely. And so I think he is close to 30 years already with Herbalife, and he has known Mark Hughes. So I don't know, maybe by the end of the supervisor workshop, we might just have a few small questions, and I'm also always curious to know, how it is if somebody meets Mark Hughes and look him in the eye, talk to him, how it is. So he is one of them. one of the legends. There are not so many people around actually who've been doing Herbalife so long, and of course, one of the things is that if you stick around long enough, you have no choice but to become Presty one day. That's just the way it is. I don't think there are many, if maybe even no GET team or MIL teams around that have been doing Herbalife for 30 years. I guess all of them doing Herbalife 30 years, they all become Presty. And if you then think about it, you do any normal job for 30 years, where can you end up earning 100,000 ringgit a month with your ordinary job doing it for 30 years? So I don't think there is any job like that, except really multi-level marketing. So yeah, please let me know as soon. I see Leo's on the call, so thank you very much, Leo, for joining us. So we just raised the question to the participants who actually has been in touch with you before, who saw you in Mulu in Malaysia. Some of them saw you twice. Some of them they've been meeting you through the video call from Schilde. So they're all really very excited and very happy to see you again. And you look so great.
Hi, everybody.
Nice to see you again.
Great to see you too.
You look amazing, Leo. You look very radiant. So we're really very happy to have you on the call, and I'm so grateful that you've been my friend for quite a long time already now, and that we had lots of very valuable conversations, and that you changed my life in many ways, and that you changed lots of people's lives in many ways, and that you're really a huge inspiration. So really very grateful to have you on the call, and we're not gonna delay your speech. So please help me welcome everyone. Senior Executive Press Team member Leo Calleart from Belgium.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Dries, for this heartfelt introduction. It's a pleasure for me to be on the call and to see you guys from Malaysia. What a wonderful invention that we can do this through Zoom now. Some disturbance. So yeah, it's really great, and it's an honor for me to be on the call and to share a little bit of my experience. And I cannot tell my whole story in detail because it would take way too long for the call. But just to give a little bit of an introduction, I got started in Herbalife way back in '92. It was the early beginning of Herbalife in Europe. Herbalife in that time was, they were working in 12 countries around the world. They did $700 million of turnover. And so it was in the early beginning. And I used to be, well, before I met Herbalife, I was frustrated. I did something that I absolutely didn't like to do. I already figured out a couple of years before that I didn't want to work for a boss. I didn't want to work for a company. I wanted to be self-employed. And I was self-employed for a couple of years already. But I was very bad in managing money. And I ended up having lots of debts as an independent. I had my own sandwich bar, and it didn't really work the way I thought it was going to work. So I had to look for something else. And I started looking in the newspaper if I could find something else to do. And there was this one ad, a small ad that said, do you know big business for everybody who knows people in other countries? And I didn't know anybody in another country, but one of my dreams was to travel around the world. And I thought, well, maybe if they say, if big business, if you know people around the world, maybe I can travel with this company. And so I called, and I had a guy on the phone, and he talked about it was a company, 12 countries around the world, $30 billion industry, blah, blah, blah. He gave the whole story. And I really got interested. So I made an appointment, ended up to his house in Brussels. I got the shock of my life when he opened the door, because I thought I was going to see this beautiful company. There was going to be a secretary that was going to invite me in. I was going to talk to the personnel manager, and I just saw somebody who's actually from the Philippines. He had a big button that says "Lose weight now, ask me how." He was wearing a yellow T-shirt, a green trousers until the knees, and loafers, you know, that you walk in your apartment with. And I was like, oh my God, this can never be serious. But anyway, I got in, and he showed me a videotape. And on the videotape, I saw somebody lose over 100 kilograms using the products. And that really moved me. And I said to myself, wow, if this is true, if actually this product does this with people, then I definitely want to start working with this company. And then I started seeing the testimonials. And there were people like John Tardle was on there, Jerry Svetanovich was on there, John Peterson, like the guys who got started in the early beginning, and they were talking about incomes of $30,000 a month, $40,000 a month, $50,000 a month. And I was like, oh my God, this is amazing that you can make so much money with this. And it had so much meaning for me way back then, because I wanted to be free. I wanted to be, my own boss. I wanted to be able to travel. I wanted to do something that I love to do. And so it made all sense to me. And then I saw Mark Hughes at the end, and I could feel he was a really good person, that he was honest, that it was really a mission for him. And so it resonated completely with me. So I got started with Herbalife. Started using the products. I lost about 6 kilos in 8 weeks on the products. I felt better. And then I got to my very first meeting, which was in Holland. And you have to understand, in 30 years ago, it was the opening of Europe. There was nothing. There was absolutely nothing. There were no meetings. There were no trainings. The internet didn't even exist. We were doing everything over the phone. There was no meeting in Belgium. I had to go to Holland to drive to a meeting. And on that meeting was Alan Lorenz. And I even get emotional when I think about Alan. But anyway, so he was, I think he was a brand new president team at the time. He was maybe 1 year that he qualified as a president team member, and he was telling his story. I loved this story. He was making $50,000 a month. I was not making anything. I was losing money every single month. And then he said, who wants to become rich? And I put my hand up, and he said, well, if you want to get rich, then you have to go to the Leadership Weekend in Paris. And so I decided I was going to go to the Leadership Weekend in Paris. After he explained I had to be a supervisor. And then in that time, you could only become a supervisor when you did 4,000 volume points in 1 month or 2,500 volume points in 1 month. And it was like 1 month before the event. So I had very few time. And I was like, okay, I'm going to go to the bank. And I'm going to just lend the money so I can buy all the products because I want to be at that event. I thought to myself, I already had 125,000 euros debt before Herbalife. And I thought, well, I mean, if I buy the products, another 4,000 euros, it's not going to make any difference if it doesn't work, So anyway, So I bought the supervisor order. And then we started, and then Alan said something very important. He said, listen, and if you really want to succeed in Herbalife, then you have to bring as many people as you can to that event. And that really stuck with me. And I started calling everybody that I knew because I was so excited about the possibility to be free. And in my very first month, without me actually knowing how to do the business, I did 34,000 volume points. And I qualified 19 supervisors in that first month. So we went with a group of about 15 people. We went to Paris, and that was the beginning of the whole story. I qualified Get team member after 3 months. After 17 months, I qualified Millionaire team member. I was having the time of my life. Then we had the worldwide extravaganza in Atlanta in 94. And I took 300 people in my organization to that event. And I thought, okay, with 300 people seeing the big vision of Herbalife, for sure, I'm going to get to the present team. And when we came back to Belgium, Belgium got hit with bad publicity. There was a 2-page negative article in the main newspaper in Belgium saying that Herbalife was a pyramid scheme, that the products were not really very good. And that really stopped the growth in Belgium. And in about 3 months' time, I lost 85% of the organization. And my check, who used to be 10,000, went back to 1,500. And that 1,500 was just enough for me to pay back all the debts that I had, because I still had lots of debts before I entered Herbalife. And that really became a very difficult time. And we tried to build it up again. But each time when we were building it up, we got attacked, because you have to understand something about Herbalife. Herbalife, because of who Mark Hughes was, Herbalife is a company of light. It's a company that is pure in its intention, because you have to understand everything is intention. Because we live in a universe that is just energy. Everything is energy. I mean, if you already heard me speak, you know that I speak in these terms, right? But everything is energy. And so when we do something, our intention, it's how we give form to that energy. And so Mark Hughes, he had a pure intention, because he did Herbalife out of love. He did Herbalife as a solution so that people would not have to suffer like his mother suffered. And because it was so pure, there were lots of people or lots of structures, they didn't like Herbalife because it was just too good. So those people and those organizations didn't like Herbalife, like the fast food companies and the pharmaceutical companies and all that stuff. They tried to always attack Herbalife. So we got attacked many, many times in those early days when we started to build Herbalife. But anyway, we were very passionate. We wanted to do it. We kept on fighting, kept on doing all the things that we needed to do. But each time when we build it up, it went back down. And then Belgium was going to go open. In 94, Belgium opened officially. But Mark Hughes, he said to us, he said, listen, you guys, you need to be low profile, because we cannot show the government that we already operating in Belgium before the country is open. So you need to be low profile. You cannot do ads anymore. You cannot do flyers anymore. You cannot wear the button anymore. You just need to be very low profile so we can get the company open. And so the only thing that was left for us was to talk to people on the street. And so I'm telling you this because already I was in a bad financial situation. I had to do Herbalife. And if I didn't sell any products that day, I could not eat. I mean, that's how bad my financial situation was. But we made an action plan with 5 people. We rented a little office in Antwerp. And the action plan was to talk to people on the street. And my goal was to talk to 30 people a day on the street to present them the business. And I did that. And it was very difficult for me to do because it scared me to death. to talk to people that I didn't know. But anyway, I overcame the fear and I did it. And I talked in 3 months, I talked to over 900 people. And from those 900 people, there were 18 people that said yes. I mean, the numbers were very low if you look at that. And from those 18 people, nobody stayed because the situation was so bad that as soon as these people, they said, oh, I'm going to do it. And then when they went back to their family, they said, what are you going to do? Herbalife? Didn't you hear on the news? It's a pyramid thing and the products are not very good. And so it was difficult, guys. It was really, really difficult. And what happened out of that is that I started to lose my own self-confidence. I started to believe that I could not do this. And so I became less active. And eventually I dropped out of Herbalife because I just believed I could not do it. And then I went into other companies, and I'm not going to go into the whole story, but I did 3 other companies, and they were all network marketing companies. And they learned me to see the difference. They learned me to see that, yes, network marketing is great because of the promise of financial freedom, but none of them was like Herbalife. Herbalife has something special, and the special it has, it's the spirit of Mark Hughes. That's what makes it special, because Mark Hughes was an unbelievable man. He wanted to do good in the world, genuinely good in the world. And so what I learned from that is that Herbalife is truly, it's a gift for the world. But let me back up, because otherwise maybe it's not going to make sense. Anyway, I got back into Herbalife in 2000. I got back into Herbalife after Mark Hughes passed away, actually. Stephanie called me and he said, listen, Leo, Mark Hughes passed away, and all the leaders in Herbalife, we all came together and we said that we were going to continue Mark Hughes' dream. And he said to me, listen, it's time for you to come back to Herbalife. And I'm so grateful for that call. I'm so grateful that he invited me back into Herbalife. Although at that time I was still very hesitant because of my first experience in Herbalife, which was hugely painful for me. But anyway, I got back into Herbalife. Stefan invited me to go to Canada. We spent about a week together, and then he said, "Listen, why don't you go to a big event? Because it has been 5 years that you didn't see Herbalife. Why don't you go to a big event and go and feel what Herbalife is?" So I went, and I went to Los Angeles. It was the Masters 2. I think it was the second time that they did the Masters program. And when I went into the room, there was one of the doctors, Dr. Jamie McManus, who was giving a training, and she was talking about the wellness revolution, because that was the beginning of the wellness revolution. And she said that Herbalife was now going to go more into the whole wellness revolution. And when I heard that, all of a sudden, I had this flash in front of me where I saw that Herbalife was going to go to $10 billion. And Herbalife was not even doing $2 billion at the time. But anyway, I saw that image and I felt, yes, I'm in. So I re-signed as a distributor on the 25th of, I think it was the 25th of July or June in 2000. I got back into Herbalife. And when I went back to Belgium and I started to go again amongst the Herbalife community, I found out that my old organization, I had one guy in my old organization who was Joost. He was the first guy actually signed into the business. And he signed a woman in the Philippines called Arlene Tanbalange. And Joost also became inactive when it was difficult in Belgium. Everybody became inactive because it was just too difficult. But he didn't give up on his distributorship. I actually forgot to requalify. That's why I lost my distributorship. And so when I got back into the company, I found out that Irene, she was qualified for the president team already, and Joost was in qualification for the president team. And I was like, oh my God, what did I do? And I knew I said, my God, if I would have just stayed in the business, I would probably earn way back then around 8,000 euros a month just from Joost alone. And I was earning nothing. And I was like, oh my God, I cannot believe this. But then I remembered a lesson of Jim Rohn. And Jim Rohn said, you need to use the past as a lesson, not as a club to beat you on the head with all over. And so I took it as a lesson. And I said to myself, well, I will never stop Herbalife. Never, ever again. No matter if it's difficult, no matter if it's easy, I don't care, but I'm going to do Herbalife for the rest of my life. That's what the decision I took. And so I started again, and I started building my business. And I realized that in order for me to be able to build a sustainable business, I needed to create a support structure. And in those days, because Herbalife was still pretty much in the beginning, there was not a lot. There was very little support structure. So I started working on a support structure. In the meantime, I was building customers. And after about 8 months, the support structure was finished for me to start basically building the organization. And that was in February 2001. I was ready to start, really building the organization. But in January of 2001, I got a phone call. And this was a bank. And they said, Mr. Calleart, do you know Company X? And I said, yes, I know Company X because it used to be my company. And this was the last thing I did before I rejoined Herbalife. It was my company, but I am no longer there. They said, yes, we know that you were the managing director of that company, but you signed a bank guarantee. The company went bankrupt and you need to pay us back $50,000. And I was like, oh my God, no, not again. And so all the fears, all the doubts, they came, and the voices in my head like, oh, it's never going to work for you. You will always stay in this situation that you don't have enough. And, everything that happens in those moments. But again, then I remembered Mark Hughes. Where he said, everything is no problem. And I remembered, and I said, okay, if this happens, it means it's not a problem. If this happens, it means I will make enough money with Herbalife that I can pay back the $50,000 and that I will be fine. And so I went to the bank and I negotiated a plan of payment in 2 years' time. And I started working. And I worked very hard. I worked 16 hours a day, 7 days a week. And I did that for 23 months. And after 23 months, I qualified as a president team member. And so in the end, everything that happened was actually a gift. It was a huge gift because it helped me to become a president team member. And the thing that I want to give you guys, and maybe this is the most important message I can give you, Herbalife for me, it's the biggest gift for normal people to make something wonderful out of your life, to turn your life into a dream. It really is that gift. But the biggest gift is not so much the things that you're going to get. It's not so much the money that you're going to get. It's not so much the big house that you will be able to buy. It's not so much the beautiful car that you will be able to drive. The biggest gift is the person that you will become. That is the biggest gift. And you need to always remember that. Because sometimes we lose ourselves thinking that of course we want to be present team. That's our dream. We want to be present team. But the present team only serves for you to become the present team in your heart. You understand? And Herbalife is the easiest business in the world. Really, I promise you, it's the easiest business in the world. But there's one condition. You need to love people. You need to genuinely love people. And in order for you to genuinely love people, you need to first love yourself. Because if you don't love yourself, you cannot love other people. So the gift of Herbalife is that it's the personal development. It's you becoming better, turning all the weaknesses that you have inside of you, which are your doubts, which are your fears, which are the feelings that you are not good enough, which are the feelings that you are not worth it. All these things that we believe about ourselves that are not the truth, they will come to the surface as you do Herbalife. They will come to you. It's inevitable for them not to come. But you need to accept those feelings. You need to allow those feelings to come and know that they are not the truth, and not listen to the voices that try to steer you away for you not to feel that. That's why people give up on Herbalife, because it becomes too heavy for them. They start to believe the voices. They start to believe the feelings. No, the feelings are, and the voices are lies. These are things you believe about yourself, but it's not the truth. And so when you accept the feelings and you continue to go for your dreams and you continue to fight for a better life, you will start to transform all those beliefs inside of you. And then you turn a weakness into a strength. And then you become the diamond, because the diamond is you. Then when you are the diamond, it's also going to reflect on the outside. You understand? And that means that we need to do Herbalife, and we need to be authentic, because I don't know, but probably I'm sure you know, but we know that Herbalife always goes with the consciousness on the planet. Like when Herbalife started in the beginning, the products that Mark Hughes developed, they were never about weight loss. It was always a product that was a nutritional product that would give the body everything that it needed so that the body could stay in good health, in prevention of disease. That was the original intent of the product. But in the 1980s, there were very few people who were interested in good health. They were simply not interested. So the only people who were interested in their health were the people who were unhealthy, which were the ones who were overweight. So that's why Herbalife entered the marketplace through weight loss, because those were the only people that were open to the idea. And then, of course, when they started to lose the weight, they also started to feel better. That's when they they stayed in the company. So in the 1980s, that was the way Herbalife was working. Then there was a raising, the consciousness on the planet started to raise. We always go into a higher level of consciousness. So that's why then the wellness revolution started to come, because people started to realize my health is important. I need to take care of my health. And so they started to use some more supplements. All the anti-aging products started to become, because the baby boomers, who were the biggest market in the time, they wanted to stay young. They didn't want to get old and die. So that was another level of raise of awareness. And that's when the healthy breakfast started to come, and some other products that started to come. And the healthy breakfast changed the way people looked at Herbalife, because they no longer looked at Herbalife as just a weight loss company, but they also started to see it as a nutritional company. And then in 2010, it was more fitness, because people started to realize that fitness was a huge part in you staying younger, not aging as fast, keeping your strength, keeping your fitness. So then Herbalife started to transition into that. We had the Herbalife 24 line. And now we see today that the Herbalife 24 created this new way of working, which they call a healthy, active lifestyle, where lots of young people now, they do the business, the millennium people, all the millennials, that they don't want to work for a boss. They want to be independent because they got a different level of awareness. They don't fit in the old structures anymore. They want to do something new. And they feel, wow, you mean I can do sports all day? I can do what I love and I can turn that into a job. I can turn that into a life. So you see, that's what Herbalife is. But now you have to see, we are continuing to rise in awareness. And we are going away from understanding life just through the mental capacity. We are going through a place where we will understand life better through the heart, which is the female principle. And so that's why we need to do Herbalife from the heart. Do it from love, and then it's going to work. Not just because we want to be president team, and that's the most important. No, you become president team when you help lots of other people. That's the way to do Herbalife. And Mark Hughes, when you listen to Mark Hughes and you work according to the principles that he created, those principles, they are values, but they are spiritual values that help you to become better as a person, where you become the diamond. Because I will share a gift with you. And this was from my own experience, because I got to the present team when I was 41 in the year 2003. And when I got to the present team and I had all the things that I believed they were going to make me happy, I found out I was not happy. And the reason why I was not happy, because I had a very difficult childhood, very traumatic childhood. I was born in a family where the people, they did not know love. And so in order to survive, I had to push away certain parts inside of me that were very traumatized and deeply wounded. And that made that I had to close a part of my heart just in order for me to survive. And then I did Herbalife. And because I saw with Herbalife, I was going to be happy. I did Herbalife pure on mental strength. But it didn't help me to transform the parts inside of me that I had left behind. So when I got to the present team and I realized I wasn't happy, I realized that there is no happiness on the outside. I could not have new dreams anymore, because I realized if I buy another house or I buy a boat, it's not going to make any difference for me. Also, the Chairman's Club or Founder Circle, it's not going to make me more happy, because I need to go and find me. I need to go and find that little boy inside of me that is traumatized, that is wounded, that believes that he's not good enough. And I need to heal that part. And I did that. And it took me 17 years to go inside of me and to connect again with those parts and heal those parts. And I did it. Today, I'm completely healed from that. I was able to heal the little boy inside of me. And in that process, I learned to love myself. And I learned to see my value. Like, I know today, there's nobody like me on the planet. Nobody. I'm unique. There's nobody who can say the things that I can say in the way that I can say them. There's nobody who can express his love in the way that I can do it. So I'm unique. It doesn't mean that I'm better. It doesn't mean that I'm better than anybody. No, I'm just like everybody. But I am unique. And so are you. Each of you, you are a unique expression of God, because we all live in God. And so when you live from your heart, you are living from who you are. And then you just spread your joy, your happiness, and that's how you will attract people to you. And then you realize that there was something very important that I realized with this. I realized that, all the dreams that we have in our life, whether it's to be financially independent, whether it's to live in a big house, whether it's to have a beautiful car, whether it's to be president team. In the end, why do we want that? You need to ask yourself the question, why do we want that? It's always because we are looking for a certain feeling, isn't it? If you have the house, it's because you feel you're going to be happy when you have the house. So you're looking for a feeling. It's always the feeling that we're looking for. But when you get that house, and of course, it's going to give you an amazing feeling because you're like, wow, I can live in such a beautiful house. But after a while, that house is going to be just a house. If you didn't heal yourself, it's just going to feel like a house. And so that feeling of happiness will start to go away because you didn't heal yourself. And in the old days, because of the level of consciousness that people had in the planet, many people did Herbalife from that level of consciousness. They believed that Herbalife was going to fix their life. Somewhere Herbalife was going to fix their life if they got to the president team. But that's not the truth. Herbalife is not going to fix your life because you get to the president team. That's only half of the truth. Herbalife will fix your life on the external side. Externally, yes, your life will be fixed because you can buy all the things that you like. But you need to take you with it. You need to heal yourself. And that is the true message that Jim Rohn wanted to say. That's what Jim Rohn said. It's not about the end. It's not about what you will get. It's the person you become. And that's why we need to do Herbalife from the heart and no longer from the mind. Our mind serves only one thing. It's to keep you focused on your heart. That's the only reason why you have a mind. To keep your heart space open all the time, even if it hurts, even if it's difficult, even if you feel you cannot do it, even if you feel that you are worthless, even if you feel that you're the smallest person in the room, even when you feel all those things, you have to keep your heart open because that's how you transform those limiting beliefs. And then when you do that, then you realize that you are the gift you were always looking for all your life. Everybody is looking for themselves. And when you find yourself, you've got everything. Because then you discover all the happiness, it's inside of you. All the love, it's inside of you. And then you become a magnet for people. Because they can feel your love. They want to be part of your organization. Because they can feel that they can be themselves. And that's what it means to me, Herbalife. Understand? And so, so I call this being authentic, being real, being you. And there was this old saying in Herbalife, and the meaning of the saying was good. It said, "Fake it until you make it." Who remembers that saying? Fake it until you make it. That was something we said in the 80s and in the 90s, and it was understood through the mind. But that's not the right way to do it anymore. Pretend until you make it. No. Actually, I've got a new one. Don't fake it until you make it. Don't fake it until you make it. Be real. Live with your heart open. You feel insecure? So what? What's the problem? You feel insecure? You feel insecure. No problem. Just don't believe it's the truth. Keep your heart open. That energy is going to be transformed. If you feel, I don't know what to say, so what? No problem. Many times I don't know what to say. But you just keep it open, keep it open. And when you keep it open, after a while, you will always know what to say because we can feel each other. And then the energy just flows between us and we say the right things. We don't even know we say the right things, but we always say the right things because we live from the heart. And that's the new Herbalife. That's where we're going to go. And so Herbalife is going to change the world, guys. I'm telling you. It's amazing. So I don't know, Dries, maybe now if people want to ask some questions, they can ask some questions.
So thank you so much, Leo. I got many times goosebumps from and really feel your love and feel your spirit. Thank you so much. So I propose we take just a 5 minutes break. And in the meantime, I would love everyone on the Zoom call just to share your name and your result with Herbalife, and share your gratefulness with Leo, so he can get a bit more to know you. Leo, it was very, very beautiful sharing. And what I love about this is that we are all on this journey together. We're all traveling together to make this better. And it's true. It's unbelievable that we from all over the world basically can all go in one course, and the light we have will becomes always brighter and brighter, and eventually we're going to be able to really change the world to be a better place. So maybe Jay can play a little bit of music, and then you guys can share. And the next session, we will go into some question and answering. And this one is actually only for supervisors and above. So if you're going to be supervisor this month, or if you're really willing to work for it, you can stay because if we can give you more inspiration, if we can give you more knowledge, and if you're open to it, to receive it and to go for it, we're happy to do that. So you're welcome to stay. But we're going to have a slightly higher training, a supervisor level training in just a few minutes. And then we will proceed with that. So let's just take up some water, drink a bit, and within a couple of minutes.
We can cross any sea, climb any mountain to reach our dream. We just have to believe, trust the voice that is whispering within. And no matter where we go, we'll be standing We can cross any sea, climb any mountain to reach our dream. We just have to believe, trust the voice that is whispering within. And no matter where we go, we'll be standing together as one. We are here, we are strong, finally found where we belong. Herbalife, round the world, come together, we are one. And we'll never give up, knowing we can make a change. Herbalife. We have walked through the rain. Now there's no place that I'd rather be. We all wear the name. Side by side, we are all family. And no matter where we go, we'll be standing together as one. We are here, we are strong, finally found where we belong. Herbalife, round the world, come together, we are one. And we'll never give up, knowing we can make a change. Oh, Herbalife. We are here, we are strong, finally found where we belong. Herbalife, round the world, come together, we are one. We are here, we are strong, finally found where we belong. Herbalife, round the world, come together, we are one. And we'll never give up, knowing we can make a change. Herbalife.
Yes, thank you, Jay. Thank you so much. Yeah, thank you, Leo, for the first very inspiring session. Really, it went through my bones, and I guess many of you. We're gonna do a little bit some question and answering. So later on, whoever has a question, maybe raise your hand, and we will ask you to raise your question. But I would like to give this opportunity first to Steffi to quickly say something, get in touch with Leo, since I believe it's been a while ago. So thank you and welcome, Steffi.
Thank you so much, Dries. And wow, Leo, thank you so much for the heartfelt sharing. I could definitely feel what you were sharing, that you inspired me. I mentioned before you came in just now that you're the one who inspired me to really go for my dreams when I attended my first STS. But that was also from the mental level. And I could really feel when you were sharing just now how you had made that shift and how you're really talking from the heart. And really, to be honest, I was really tired. Last night I had almost zero sleep. I have a breastfeeding baby, and I'm here right awake. I'm like ready to take on the world. And I really hope that you all feel this. This is like a one-in-a-life opportunity we have here to really learn from someone so special, that made such a huge impact around the world and really will answer a lot of questions that we have inside. And I've been taking lots of notes. I actually started listening, and so I have heard your stories over and over, Leo, but just a few minutes in, I took my notebook and like, I need to write this down. This is amazing. So thank you so much, Leo. I hope you all have your notebook ready because those words are powerful. Thank you so much, Leo. I won't take off any of your time. I'm so happy to connect with you. And yeah, looking forward to learn more. Thank you, Leo. Pass it to you.
Thank you, Steffi. Thank you very much, and thank you for your sharing. It's a pleasure to see you because it's been a long time. I sometimes see you on Instagram or the little things that I see that your life is going great. So it really makes me very happy to see it. But it's so nice to see you all lit up, so thank you for the feedback. Maybe Dries, I will give a little bit of like a short training, which I think is important for everybody, and then people can just ask questions about anything that you want to ask, okay? But what's important, guys, is that it's all about feeling, right? It's all about how you feel. What makes a change in your life is when what you say matches with what you feel. And sometimes we say things and we know that they are the truth, but it doesn't mean we can fully feel it. We can feel it to the extent that we can feel it. And something that I learned, especially when I started to heal myself, I went within because I knew inside of me is this little boy who is afraid. And deep down, to be honest, deep down inside of me, my inner child was so traumatized that I felt less than anybody else. That was the truth about me. I felt I was less than anybody else. And in order for me not to feel that, I created all these protection mechanisms inside of me, these coping mechanisms inside of me, where I pushed all those feelings so far away that it made me lose my connection with my center. So it's almost like, imagine, this is your heart, right? This is where you are connected with the source, which is love, which is God, because God lives inside of our heart. And so if you suppress feelings, it's like you move away from the source. You move away, you move away, you move away, you move away. And so the more you move away, the less you can feel. The more you move away, the more you become mental. You're just in your head, mental. Now, one thing that I had, and thank God I had that, I always knew the truth in my head. I always knew the truth. Since I was a small boy, I always knew the truth. So, yes, I became mental, but it didn't prevent me to know the truth. That's why I was able in the beginning to build an organization and to inspire people, because the only time I could be more myself was when I was on stage. But as soon as I was off stage, I was again protected, completely protected. So I had a difficult time to be in relationship with other people because I felt so bad about myself and I didn't want to feel it because I pushed all these feelings away. But as I went through my healing journey and I started to heal that inner child inside of me, not running away from me anymore, but staying in the present moment. Because you have to understand one thing, guys, there is only now. There is only now. There's nothing else but now. Tomorrow does not exist. You need to get this. Tomorrow does not exist. It just exists in your mind when you think about it. But in reality, it doesn't exist. There is only now, this moment of now. And so I forced myself to be always present in the now and to keep my heart open. And in the beginning, what I felt was fear. I was feeling fear and bad all the time. Like basically almost for 17 years. But I wanted so badly to become who I knew that I was deep down in my heart that I did that. And so I learned a lot from those 17 years of healing my inner child. And that's why today I know that it's all about feelings. It's all about how you feel. And it's about being authentic. Now, being authentic, what does that mean? It means to be who you are, to accept yourself as you are, to accept your uniqueness, because we are all unique. We all have different gifts, and all those gifts, they are special. They don't make us more special than anybody else. They make us special in the sense that we are unique. And so when you can embrace your own uniqueness and you dare to express your own uniqueness, then you are giving your gift to the world. That's the service that you then give to the world. And when we all do that, when we dare to do that, then it's almost like we give other people permission to do the same. And so then life becomes really beautiful. But in order to bring it back to Herbalife, for me, Herbalife is a gift, because if it was not for Herbalife, I would not have been able to do my healing journey. Because you have to understand, I didn't almost not work for the last 2012 was probably the last year that I was more or less active. After that, I didn't have the strength anymore to be active. So I've been basically since 2012, the last 10 years, I've not been inactive. I've not been active. But thank God to Herbalife, I didn't have to be. Because with Herbalife, the money always kept on coming in, which is the great gift of Herbalife, the residual income, the freedom. So I was able to just devote all my time to my healing journey because of the gift of Herbalife. And so when then we understand that Herbalife is this gift that you can give to other people to be really free, and you feel that in your heart that you have this gift, because that's what Herbalife is, then you no longer need people in your organization to confirm to you that you have the gift, because that is the gift of Herbalife, that financial freedom. And when you can feel that, then you can give it to other people. And when they feel that you genuinely want to give that to them, they don't feel that you want something from them. Then people, they relax, they also open up. And you can say, listen, this is what Herbalife is. And I'm also on my path to getting to the financial freedom, but I know that's what it is. So you don't have to pretend that you're somewhere where you're not yet. You can just say what you feel in your heart. That's what Herbalife is. And I mean, today, listen, Herbalife gave already so much proof around the world. I mean, how many people already achieved financial freedom in Herbalife? It's thousands and thousands and thousands of people. So we don't need to prove to people that it's like that. You understand? When I started in Herbalife, we needed to fake it because there was almost nobody. When I started, there were like 23 present teams in the company, and they were all in America. There was nobody in Europe. So in those days, we had to fake it because there was nobody. There was no proof, no tangible proof. But today it's different. There's already thousands of people that are free. So we don't need to prove it anymore. We just need to believe it and feel it in our heart that that's what it is. And when you feel it in your heart that that's the gift of Herbalife, well, then you can give it to somebody else. You want to be free? You want to? Here it is. Herbalife, take it. You want it? Take it. Just come in and do it. Just join the group. And so then when people can feel that from you, that's when they will want to do it, because you feel you don't want to pull about them, because as long as you want to pull, they will feel unsafe. So they're going to close, because it's all about energy. You understand? We are energy. You are not this body. You have a body and you have a personality, but it's not who you are. This is just a construct so that you can express yourself, your authentic self, through this body and through your personality. But it's not who you are. In fact, you are just energy, and everybody is energy. That's why you guys can feel my energy while we're on the call. Why can you feel my energy? Because you're the same energy. There's only one energy. You understand? There's only one energy, and that energy is called God, and it's called love. It's very simple. So when you do from your heart and you feel it, and you are honest, you are genuine, you don't feel that you want people in your organization because you need them. Because if you need them, why would you need them? Think about that. Why would you need people in your organization? Only because there's another fear inside of you where you believe that maybe it's not going to work for you. So then you need somebody in your organization so you don't have to feel the doubt inside of you. You understand? But actually, you need to feel the doubt inside of you. You need to feel it in order to transform it. If you don't feel it, you cannot transform it. So if you feel that you have doubt that, oh, it might not work, so what? Feel it. What's the problem? Keep the heart space open. You feel it. You say, oh, I feel now like it's not going to work. Okay, that's interesting. All right, I feel it. Well, thank you that I can feel you. I know it's not the truth because there are already thousands of people that prove to me that it's not the truth. Okay, I'm going to feel it. Then it's gone. Now you don't have to pretend anymore. And so each time when you do that, you become more of who you are and never less. Because in reality, we are already perfect. You understand? We are already perfect. We are just on a path to remember that we are perfect. And that's why we keep the heart space open. And so then you do Herbalife from your feeling. And then you're excited because, hey, wow, I've got this wonderful gift that I can give to other people. I feel so great. Now I can give it to other people. You can give it to all the people who are not happy in the world. How many are there? You think there's a scarcity of people who don't feel happy in the world? There's so many people who are not happy in the world. So all those people we can help. We can give them hope. We can give them the hope of health and the hope of freedom and the hope of honestly learning to love themselves, because that's the gift of Herbalife when you do it from an authentic place. And so, yeah, that's basically what I wanted to say as an introduction to all the questions that you might have that might arise now.
Thank you, Leo. So, who is here that's willing to ask a question or has some questions? Just unmute and just ask. Ask when you met Marcus, that would be great. Thank you.
All right. Well, the first time I saw Marcus, it was in Paris. It was my very first leadership weekend. And it was amazing because I entered the room with 4,000 crazy people standing on their chairs, dancing. And you know, it was like, for me, it was new. I never experienced something like that. But what was amazing, it was the energy. It was in those early days when Marcus was still alive, all the events, they were magical because you could feel the energy. And it was an energy of love. And I could feel Marcus, and I saw he was somebody with unconditional love in his heart. I saw that he had integrity. He was a good person. He had a mission. And those were things that I also wanted in my life. I wanted my life to have meaning. And so part of that is why I also fell in love with Herbalife. And so that's what started basically my journey in Herbalife. And then when we had the very first extravaganza, this was in Barcelona, 93. It was the first extravaganza in Europe. 16,000 people from all over Europe that came to that event. And in that moment, I was a brand new Get Team member. I was just qualified. And Marcus said, I think somebody needs to mute the mic. Marcus, he said, listen, there's so many new Get Team members. There's too many for me to personally talk to you. But what we're going to do is we're going to show your name on the screen. And when you see your name, you just come in front of the stage. You can walk up the stage. We will give you the pin, and then I will give you a hug, and then you go. And so, okay, so all the names started to appear, and I saw my name appear. So I stood up and I went into the stage, and there were lots of people, lots of people in front of me. And so everybody was walking up the stairs, and Marcus was at the top, and he would greet people, and then they would get the pin, and then they would go. So, and when it was my turn, I walked up the stairs, and I saw Marcus looking at me. And when he looked at me, it was almost like we connected with our eyes. We looked in each other's eyes, and it's almost like he came inside of me. It was very strange. It's like I could feel him. And I didn't understand what happened to me, because I was like, what happened? So I was like a little bit shaken. And I went back to my place, and then I cried for 3 days during the event. Something happened that, I don't know, it was probably like a soul recognition. It kind of opened my heart in that moment. And that's when I really fell in love with Herbalife and with Marcus and the mission and everything that it was representing. And I know today, because Marcus, he used to say, I don't know if you guys remember that, watching him or watching the videos. But sometimes he would make a joke, he said, listen, he said, there will come a time in the world where the world is in need of Herbalife. Who remembered that he used to say that? Well, let me tell you one thing. This time, it's now. Now the world is in this place where the world is in need of Herbalife. Because what we have been seeing, especially in this last 2 years, is that the world is changing. It's changing very fast now. The world is changing from an old paradigm into a new paradigm. The world, in the last 12,500 years, we as a humanity, we learned to understand the world through the mental, through the mind, which is the male energy. So for 12,500 years, we learned to understand life through the mind. And it brought lots of good things to the planet, because it allowed us to create certain structures. It made our life better in the sense that we had more comfort, more hygiene, and all that stuff. So it did some good things. But the problem is that when the mind loses the connection with the female energy, which is the heart, then after a while, it goes out of control and it becomes destructive. And this is where we are today. If we as a humanity do not change, we will end up destroying our planet. We will end up destroying ourselves. Now, the universe is not going to let that happen. So we are now in another movement. We are in a movement where we are going back up into higher energies. And that is the female. We are going back to the divine female. And that means that we are going deeper again into the heart to connect with the heart. So we are bringing the mind into the heart where the real mind is, because the mind of God is inside of your heart. All of us are connected through the heart with God. There is only one love in the universe, and it's the love of God. And that love flows through our hearts. So we are all one. There's no separation. And what people are learning to know that is the truth. Because some people, they identify with their body and with their personality as this is who I am. But that means that that's not who you are, that's who you think that you are. Because that is the personality that you built during those times with your mind. It's your ego mind that you build in order to protect yourself from all the things that you were afraid of. And you started to believe that that's who you are. But it's not who you are. And now we're in the time to remembering who we really are. But in order for you to remember who you really are, you need to let go of all these constructions that you built from fear. And that means that the path, when you walk the path within, you need to have courage. Because in order to transcend the things that you are afraid, you need courage. Because to go within, it's not the easy path. It's only the right path. And because it's only the right path, it's the only path if you want to be really happy. And so this is the movement that we are making as a humanity. And you will see that lots of the structures that were built, but that had their foundation in fear, greed, love for money, all those things, they will fall away in the next coming years. They are going to completely crumble because they cannot live in the higher vibration of love. It's impossible. That's why we need to live from our heart so that we can navigate through this period, because it's almost like we are in a birth canal. It's almost like we are this baby in the womb and we are going to be born. Now, when you are a baby in the womb of your mother and your mother is giving birth, I mean, I'm not a woman, but I heard it's very painful, right? It's painful because it's difficult, right? But once the baby is there, you forget about all the pain because it's so beautiful. Well, we as humanity, we are in this process. We are in this process where we are giving birth to ourselves, who we truly are. We are going to experience life from a higher level of awareness. And that higher level of awareness is that we will realize that we are all one, that there is no separation, that there is not an individual you who is separate from all the rest, that actually there is only one being, and that being is God, and that we are all each an individual expression of the same being. And when you know that, you cannot harm another person, because if you harm another person, you harm yourself. Because you no longer relate to yourself as this body and this personality. But people who cannot feel that, for them, it's just something that they hear, but they cannot relate to that. It's because they are still too much protected. And what life will do, life will force them to break all the protections. It's going to break all the protections. And it's going to be very painful. And for people who do not know that is what's going to happen, they will probably leave the planet. They will not stay on the planet. They will not make it into the new time. That's how serious it's going to become in the next years. But if you are living in your heart space and you keep this space open, there's nothing to worry about. There's absolutely nothing to worry about. Because then we are going to be led through these times. We're going to go through the birth canal and we're going to be born into a new time, which basically means into a new vibration. the vibration of love. And I was fortunate that I had the chance to start this process 17 years ago. And I understand that today why I had to go through it 17 years ago. So I can explain people how to do it. So I can explain people it's no problem. It's no problem when you have to face your biggest fears. Because I faced my biggest fears. I faced so many fears that you have no idea. I thought at one point I could not, because my check went down because I was not active. And my mortgage of the house, I built this huge house, a 3 million euro house, but I couldn't pay the mortgage anymore because my check went down. All my fears of not having enough all came to the surface for me to feel. And why did I want to build such a big house? Only because I wanted to prove to myself and to the world that I was good enough. But it was a compensation mechanism for how little I actually felt about myself underneath. All my unworthiness was underneath. And so the house was just a coping mechanism to prove to myself that I was good enough. So when I could no longer pay the house, all those feelings, they started to come to the surface. I had to feel them all. You have no idea what I went through. For 3 years, I was feeling bad every single day. Every single day. I was thinking to myself, why did I buy this house? Why did I buy such a big house? Why didn't I buy a small house? Then I would not feel this way. You understand? But I understood these were also just other ego mechanisms for me not to feel. But I was aware, so I kept my heart space open, and I was doing Ho'oponopono 24/7. Thank you, thank you, I love you, thank you, I love you. I was doing all that all the time just to not go crazy, you know. But then there were moments when, then actually after 3 years, I got to a place where I started to trust more that there was going to be enough. And funny enough, also then my business started to change. It started to grow again because I introduced the ambassador concept in that time. And so Bart in the organization, he picked up on it, and that started to grow the organization again. So I was able to pay. And that was funny because then I realized, wow, as I'm changing, also the world around me is changing. I don't need to do that much effort for the world. I just need to fix myself. I need to change myself. But then I started to go into deeper layers where I completely felt worthless. I completely felt worthless. I thought I was going to end up under a bridge and be a beggar on the street. That's how I felt about myself. Because in those moments, there was another time that again, I couldn't pay the house anymore. I couldn't. So it was very difficult. And I didn't have the strength anymore to work because I depleted myself completely. So I was forced to stay at home and just to accept the fears and the feelings. And sometimes I went into the feeling that I even felt I could not do the most ordinary job in the world, like serving hamburgers at McDonald's. I would not even to be able to do that. That's how bad I felt. And there was a part in my mind where I believed that I was going to lose the whole organization because it was a moment where things were going down. Of course, it's not the truth, but when you feel it, it looks like it is the truth for you. So it was really excruciatingly difficult, but because I understood and I knew the process, I could stay in the process. I could keep the heart open and accept all those feelings and go through them, go through all the fears. And as I was going through all the fears, as I was transforming the fears, I was getting more energy. I was slowly getting my energy back. And so this whole process helped me to understand that all your energy is in your fears. That's where all your energy is. And because we are afraid, people are afraid to feel fear, that's why they age. They age and they lose their energy. They become weak. they lose strength, they lose flexibility, they lose mental power, because they don't want to feel their fears. So they stay locked in their heads. That's why they go like, their life goes like this. But when you learn not to be afraid of feeling fear, your life goes like this. It goes up, and it keeps on going up. Because after a while, when you can keep this space open and you're no longer afraid of feeling your fear or feeling whatever, you just see it and you feel it. And then 30 seconds later, you don't feel it anymore. It's gone. Then you realize that every day you're going to expand more into who you are. You go deeper inside of yourself. You express yourself more. You discover more gifts about yourself. Like today, I play guitar. I know how to sing. I paint.